The WWE Universe has been left stunned, gasping for air, and questioning everything after what went down this past SmackDown. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, emboldened by arrogance and fueled by raw aggression, thought they could intimidate the entire roster, attack Roman Reigns, and humiliate the Usos without facing consequences. But they were dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. Because Jacob Fatu has arrived, and payback is a promise he does not break. It all started weeks ago when Breakker and Reed launched their vicious attacks. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, and his loyal Usos were caught off guard. The assaults weren't just about dominance, they were about sending a message, a warning, a declaration that the new generation is taking over. The WWE Universe watched as these two powerhouses bulldozed through the champions, laughing, taunting, and leaving destruction in their wake. And for a brief moment, it seemed like nobody could stop them. But every storm meets its hurricane. And in WWE, that hurricane is Jacob Fatu. The arena was buzzing when Fatu's music hit. The lights went dark, and a palpable tension filled the air. You could feel the energy shift, the crowd suddenly on its feet, knowing that the reckoning had come. Fatu, a man known for his unrelenting power and ferocity, emerged not as a savior, not as a hero, but as a force of pure, unbridled destruction. His eyes locked on Breakker and Reed, and the message was clear: payback wasn't coming, it was already here. The match, or should I say, the confrontation, began with chaos. Breakker and Reed thought they could dominate again, but they hadn't counted on Fatu's raw intensity. Each strike he landed was measured, precise, and devastating. The Usos tried to intervene, but Fatu's focus was singular. He wasn't there to be cheered. He wasn't there to make allies. He was there to punish, and every step he took through the ring was a declaration of war. The first blow came swift. Fatu charged at Bron Breakker, tackling him to the mat with a force that shook the ring. The crowd erupted, the arena vibrating with every impact. Reed tried to retaliate, swinging with everything he had, but Fatu absorbed it, countered, and slammed him down like a ragdoll. For every high-flying move, every desperate strike, Fatu had an answer. And the most terrifying part? He wasn't even breaking a sweat. Then came the moment that cemented the night in history. Fatu hoisted Breakker onto his massive shoulders, spun him around like a weapon, and delivered a Samoan drop that left the entire ring trembling. The fans screamed. Commentators couldn't even speak. The force, the violence, the absolute domination. This wasn't wrestling, this was a declaration of supremacy. But Fatu wasn't done. He turned to Bronson Reed, who was trying to gather his senses. Reed swung with a clothesline, hoping to slow Fatu down. Hope. That's all Reed had left. But Fatu sidestepped, grabbed him mid-air, and with a single, fluid motion, delivered a devastating splash that pinned Reed to the mat. The arena erupted in disbelief. Two men. Brutal attacks. Both laid out in seconds. The commentary team couldn't contain themselves. Every word screamed shock, awe, and panic. "This is madness," one shouted. "Jacob Fatu is a one-man army," another exclaimed. And that was the truth. Breakker and Reed had thought they were untouchable, but they underestimated the wrath of a man who thrives on vengeance, who channels every ounce of rage into destruction. But let's not sugarcoat it, Fatu's attacks were personal. This wasn't just about proving dominance, it was about payback. Weeks of provocation, weeks of disrespect, weeks of daring to challenge the legacy of Roman Reigns and the Usos, all of it came crashing down on Breakker and Reed tonight. Every strike, every slam, every blow carried the weight of retribution. Then came the finishing sequence that will be talked about for years. Fatu lifted Breakker once again, hoisted him high, and slammed him down in the middle of the ring. Reed tried to intervene, but he was too late. Fatu grabbed him, spun him around, and delivered a second, earth-shattering Samoan drop. The combined force of both attacks left the ring littered with bodies. Breakker, Reed both incapacitated. The message was delivered, loud and clear: Jacob Fatu is not here to play. He is here to punish. He is here to destroy. And above all, he is here to protect the legacy of those who matter. Fans erupted into chants. Fatu! 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 The arena was electric, the energy unmatched. But Fatu, as always, was unfazed. Standing tall, surveying the destruction, he exuded dominance, intimidation, and raw power. There was no celebration, no fist-raising, just cold, calculated supremacy. That's the difference between a fighter and a predator, and Jacob Fatu is a predator in every sense. The attack on Breakker and Reed was more than just a physical beating. It was a psychological statement. The arrogance they displayed in the past weeks? Gone. The confidence they carried? Shattered. The WWE Universe saw two of the biggest rising stars brought down by one unstoppable force. And in that chaos, one undeniable truth emerged: if you cross the line, if you attack the champions, if you challenge the legacy, payback isn't coming, it's here. But this is only the beginning. Jacob Fatu has sent a message, yes, but the war is far from over. Breakker and Reed will regroup, they will recover, and they will seek vengeance. And when they do, Jacob Fatu will be waiting, ready to strike again. Every attack, every comeback, every attempt at dominance will be met with the same brutal force that left the WWE Universe in awe tonight. The question now isn't whether Fatu will deliver payback, it's whether anyone, anywhere, can survive it. The dust had barely settled after the carnage, and yet, the WWE Universe was still reeling. Breaker and Bronson Reed were lying in the middle of the ring, bruised, battered, and broken, while Jacob Fatu stood tall like an immovable mountain, the embodiment of vengeance itself. Every slam, every Samoan drop, every strike carried the weight of justice, and the message was clear: don't cross the line. Don't disrespect the tribal chief, don't attack the Usos, and definitely don't underestimate the power of payback. Backstage, chaos ensued. WWE officials rushed to check on the two rising stars, while the commentary team replayed every moment in slow motion, dissecting the brutality. That wasn't just a fight, one announcer exclaimed. That was a statement. Jacob Fatu has sent a message no one in WWE can ignore. Meanwhile, social media exploded with reactions. Fans were shocked, enraged, excited, and divided. Was this the moment Breaker and Reed finally understood that attacking the champions comes with consequences? Or was it just the beginning of an even deadlier feud? Bron Breaker, furious and humiliated, wasn't done. Weeks of arrogance and overconfidence had been demolished in a single night. Backstage cameras caught him seething, fists clenched, glaring at the monitors showing Fatu's destruction. He muttered under his breath, "This isn't over, he's gonna pay for this." Bronson Reed, equally enraged, nodded, both men silently vowing revenge. The WWE Universe knew this. What happened tonight wasn't just a beatdown, it was the ignition of a war. Jacob Fatu, on the other hand, was eerily calm. He didn't celebrate. He didn't gloat. He simply stood over the carnage he created, his eyes scanning the arena like a predator assessing its domain. The crowd erupted in chants of Fatu. Fatu. Fatu, and yet, he barely reacted. For Fatu, this wasn't about applause, it was about dominance. It was about making sure that anyone who thought they could threaten Roman Reigns or the Usos learned the hard way: payback is merciless, and Fatu is unstoppable. Then came the next shocking development. As Fatu was leaving the ring, Breaker and Reed, despite their injuries, attempted one last desperate ambush. But Fatu wasn't done. He turned, catching Reed mid-charge, delivering a devastating sit-out Samoan drop that left Reed motionless on the mat. He then spun Breaker around, planting him with a second, thunderous Samoan drop. The crowd exploded in disbelief. This wasn't wrestling, it was an annihilation. Commentators could barely contain themselves. "He's obliterating them," one shouted. "No one survives Jacob Fatu," exclaimed another. And that was the truth. No matter how big, strong, or confident you think you are, Fatu's combination of sheer power and ferocity makes him a living nightmare. Breaker and Reed thought they were unstoppable, but tonight, they learned the hard way: you can't play with the tribal hierarchy without consequences. But let's analyze the deeper impact of this destruction. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, didn't even appear in this segment, yet the implications were massive. By taking down Breaker and Reed, Fatu indirectly protected Reigns' dominance and reinforced the invincibility of the bloodline. The message was unmistakable: anyone who attacks Reigns or his family will be met with merciless retaliation, and Jacob Fatu is the ultimate enforcer. And here's where things get interesting. The WWE Universe is now buzzing with speculation. Will Breaker and Reed regroup for a payback attack of their own? Can anyone survive a man like Fatu in a one-on-one match? And most importantly, what's next for this rivalry? The seeds of a full-blown faction war have been planted, and the WWE Universe is already bracing for the fallout. The aftermath wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Breaker and Reed's confidence is shattered. They are no longer untouchable rising stars, they are two men who have tasted true power in the form of Jacob Fatu. The humiliation, the pain, the fear, it will linger. And in the weeks to come, we can expect them to return with vengeance, strategies, and possibly even alliances of their own to challenge Fatu. But the question remains: can anyone match his brutality? Can anyone withstand the fury of the Samoan powerhouse? Meanwhile, WWE Creative has set the stage for epic storytelling. This isn't just a feud, it's a saga. Fatu's dominance will be the benchmark against which all challengers are measured. The intensity of these attacks raises the stakes, not just for Breaker and Reed, but for anyone daring to step into the ring with the enforcer of the bloodline. Roman Reigns' legacy is safe, but the path to the top just got a lot more treacherous for anyone who dares to challenge it. Fans are also speculating about potential pay-per-view showdowns. Could we see a triple threat featuring Fatu, Breaker, and Reed? Or will this lead to a one-on-one war of attrition where payback takes center stage? Whatever the scenario, one thing is certain: WWE has set the stage for a high-stakes, high-impact rivalry that will dominate the narrative for weeks, possibly months. The key takeaway is this: Jacob Fatu doesn't just fight, he punishes. He doesn't just defend, he dominates. And he doesn't just entertain, he terrifies. Breaker and Reed are learning the hard way that attacking legends and their allies isn't just reckless, it's suicidal. the WWE Universe can expect the aftermath to be as explosive as the attack itself, with backstage chaos, heated confrontations, and unpredictable twists. And the best part? This is only the beginning. Jacob Fatu has made it clear, when provoked, when challenged, when justice needs to be served, he doesn't hesitate. Payback is immediate, devastating, and absolute. The WWE Universe has witnessed the rise of a force that cannot be contained, cannot be reasoned with, and cannot be defeated easily. So, what's next for Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed? Will they rebuild, rethink, and return stronger? Or will Jacob Fatu continue his path of destruction, proving that payback isn't just a threat, it's a guarantee? One thing is for certain, WWE will never be the same again. The hierarchy has been reinforced, the message has been sent, and Jacob Fatu has made it clear that anyone who dares to challenge the Bloodline or even its allies will face annihilation. The arena may have emptied tonight, but the echoes of Fatu's destruction will resonate for weeks to come. The WWE Universe is left with a burning question: when the dust settles, and the broken bodies rise again, who will survive the wrath of Jacob Fatu? The answer is simple: payback waits for no one. And the Samoan powerhouse has only just begun.